We have some big news right now. MAGA Republicans across the country, but especially online and those within Donald Trump's circle, are in complete uproar this morning. Why? Because the United States Supreme Court late last night at 1 a.m. Eastern Time handed down a short opinion that blocked the Trump administration from conducting any further deportations under the wartime 1798 Alien Enemies Act out of the Northern District of Texas. It's a significant ruling, and I'm going to dive right into it because there was a lot of important news that happened overnight. But before I do want to say thank you to all those who have become paid subscribers to my Substack by clicking the button below, or those who supported my work by sending a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. Because of you all, we're the number one news Substack in the entire world. That's correct. Not just the country, the entire world. And we are growing this independent media together. And I am so grateful for your support. So please consider supporting me and my work today because I could only do it with you. So today, MAGA Republicans are in complete uproar after the Supreme Court blocked the Trump administration's attempts to continue deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. Specifically, yesterday, a group of Venezuelan migrants challenged the Trump administration's deportation efforts in an emergency appeal, arguing that if the Supreme Court did not step in, they could have potentially been sent to El Salvador's CCOT facility. And while the Supreme Court did step in a 7-2 opinion with Justice Thomas and Justice Alito dissenting, the Supreme Court placed a temporary block on the Trump administration's attempts or efforts to deport those individuals. This morning, MAGA Republicans are in complete uproar, calling it a, quote, Supreme coup, blasting Justice Roberts, Justice Kavanaugh, and Justice Gorsuch, three conservative-leaning justices, two of which were appointed by Donald Trump during his first term, for siding with the liberals. We'll see what happens throughout the day and throughout the weekend because we'll learn more about whether or not this block will remain in place. But that's not all, folks. We know why, or at least partially why, this block may have happened. So previously, to declare an invasion or to declare the use of an Alien Enemies Act, you have to declare that you are being invaded, right? Because it is a wartime act. And while a leaked classified assessment from the National Intelligence Council found that there was no evidence backing Donald Trump's claim that Venezuela is directing Tren de Aragua prison gang members to invade the United States, that directly undercuts the administration's use of the Alien Enemies Act. And while if the Trump administration is saying something different privately than they are publicly, well, then the Supreme Court's going to get into that. In addition, according to Wired, the Department of Government Efficiency is merging data from the Department of Homeland Security, the Social Security Administration, and the IRS, building what experts are warning could become a surveillance apparatus of unprecedented scale. The initiative includes sensitive biometric data and has no historical precedent in its scope. A senior DHS official told Wired, quote, they're trying to amass a huge amount of data, and what privacy experts are sounding the alarm over the potential for catastrophic violations of civil liberties. In addition, a federal judge has blocked the Trump administration's attempt to change passport rules that would have stripped recognition from transgender Americans. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had to wait for Senior Trade Advisor Peter Navarro to be occupied in another meeting before rushing to the Oval Office with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to persuade Donald Trump to pause tariffs. And they sealed the deal moments before Trump announced the decision on Truth Social. Complete chaos within the trade team at the White House. In addition, the Trump administration is seeking to eliminate funding for Head Start, a move that would gut early education for 500,000 low-income children. The proposal is buried in a deep draft budget obtained by the Associated Press and signals sweeping cuts for the Department of Health and Human Services. CNN has learned that the Department of Defense and the Department of Homeland Security will not recommend that Donald Trump invoke military authority, the Insurrection Act, to assist migrant arrests, at least for now. A U.S. judge has ordered the Trump administration to transfer a Tufts University student from immigration detention facility in Louisiana to Vermont. And folks, something that not many people know about, but late last night, we learned that the letter sent to Harvard University that caused a major public uproar between Harvard and the Trump administration over the Trump administration's demands to Harvard University. Well, that letter was sent in error. The Trump administration accidentally sent this massive letter to Harvard. Harvard then fought back publicly, and then the Trump administration cut $2 billion in funding for Harvard. Yet another mistake on the Trump administration's part. Folks, thank you all for your support. I'll be back this evening for another evening news update. If you want to support my work, please consider becoming a paid subscriber to my Substack by clicking the button below or supporting my work by sending a one-time donation to Venmo, Aaron Parnas, and I'll see you this evening.